Hey everyone, this is Angela Miki, and today I'm going to show you some basics with Google Draw, and then we are going to embed an image in Canvas. So here we go. To open Google Drawings, what I like to do is just go to my Google Drive. I go to Google Drive to open anything, just so we're clear. If it's a doc, if it's a sheet, if it's a slide, if it's anything, if it's even my Google site, I go here to open it. This is sort of my hub for everything. So it just makes sense for me to always go here to open things. So I'm going to click New, as you see, and I'm going to hover over the word More. And when I slide out, I can see that I have Google Drawings. Once I open Google Drawings, it's automatically going to give me a brand new blank canvas every single time. And it's not titled yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up and put my title. So I'm going to make this title Raven Logo, because we are the home of the Ravens here at Ridge Road. And we're going to make us a nice pretty logo. So I like to use Google Draw for mostly making my own diagrams and my own images for things in Canvas. I also like to customize and make my own buttons so that they're nice and pretty. So here we go. Excuse me. Step one, I am going to take a shape and put it on my canvas. So rounded rectangle is sort of my go-to. Absolutely love this. Okay, I'm gonna have a nice rounded rectangle. Now my canvas size may be a little bigger than what I want, so when I click on my background, these checkerboard, also this checkerboard is going to come out as being clear or invisible later on once I download it as a JPEG, or if I embed it into another thing. This will be all clear. So if I was to take this image right now and put it in something, this rectangle would be off center. So I'm going to change the size of my background, or my canvas as I say, and that's gonna kind of center things up. Now if I'm not sure of its center, I have all these guides that Google Drawings gives me. So if I start moving things around, sorry guys, if I start moving things around, you'll see that I get that's center top to bottom, that center left to right, bam, now it's centered, which has great impact on the way that I make things. Also, when you start adding multiple images, and we'll do a couple of that, we'll make a couple shapes, and I'll show you that you have some guides that pop up that tell you, hey, your spacing here is not right, and let's set that equal to all the other spacing. And it helps just make things look nice and neat. So before I get too far into this, I'm going to change this background a little bit. So I have a fill color button, and I'm not quite happy with this blue because we know that we love our red here at Ridge Road. So I can change it to that, or I can go gradient and I can get this nice gradient fill background, which is beautiful to me. I can also change my border into any color I want. I'm going to leave it black, but I'm going to make it nice and thick. So I'm on the border width button. Hover there for a sec so you can see. And I'm going to take it up to 8. Have a nice thick line that separates this. So the trick with Google Drawing for me that I figured out was that if I kind of work from the background to the foreground, and if I start big and then I work down to the details, that makes my life a whole lot easier. If I kind of have a frame of reference for what I want to do ahead of time, that makes my life easier. Now, I can add some more shapes on top of this. So like I was saying, let's say I want an arrow. Now I get to draw this arrow any kind of width or shape that I want. Okay, let's say I want it like that. Alright. And I'm going to go ahead and go back and get something just kind of nice and let's go bright yellow. And we're going to have a nice black line around it. Okay, now this yellow arrow, okay, if I want to have multiple yellow arrows that look exactly the same, I'm going to go Command D or Control D, and I can just keep clicking D while I hold down the command button, and I'm going to have all these arrows. Now, let's say I want this here, and I want this one here. Now, that red line pops up and says, hey, you've got it centered with the other ones. Now notice that I keep getting these little blue guys popping up. Okay. And I want them nice and equal distance, okay? Because my eye, and being a little just on the tad bit OCD, I can tell whether I have these guys lined up or not in equal space. So Google Draw kind of helps me with that. It's going to say, hey, look, this spacing and that spacing are the same. Leave it alone. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. If I want to move all of these guys at once, I can, sorry, hang on. Let's say I want to move all these guys at once. I'm going to move my background out of the way for a second. I can highlight all of them at once, and then I can move all of them at once. Okay, so that kind of speeds up some things and some transitions. Now, I told you we were going to make a Raven logo, so I'm going to delete those because I don't really want arrows in my logo. And I'm going to put my background back. Nice and center. Boom. Now, every logo needs words, so now I'm going to add a text box. So this is my shortcut right here for my text box. Guys, also all of these tools are right here under Insert, along with several more like Chart and Diagram. You can have all kinds of charts. My math people, you're going to love this. It pulls from Google Sheets. And if you just click bar graph, it gives you a random bar graph, and it gives you just numbers, basic numbers in there. And you can go in and edit and make it the data that you want it to represent, or you can pull from a Google Sheet that you already have made. Diagrams, that's more like our flowcharts and our graphic organizers, things like that. Word art is not something that I mess with a lot because I like to just use my text boxes and layer them. It's nice and easy. Tables will let you equally space your different images as well if you want to put a bunch of different images together and nice and neat and make it one image instead of having to keep embedding multiple images in, let's say, Google Slides or into Canvas. You can put a table in and it will put the images in nice, neat rows and columns for you. So you can also put words and numbers and things like that in it too. Just so you know, that insert box is there. But I'm going to use the shortcut right here. And I'm going to draw my text box. And I get a cursor. It's kind of hard to see on my background, but I'm going to type Ridge Road. Now, this black is hard to see, so I'm going to highlight it. And I can change my color right here. I can change my text color. Let's say I want it bright white. Yay, now I can see it. I can change my font too. I have a crazy font problem. Most, I think, middle school teachers do have a font problem. I can also change where it's justified to if I want it centered. And I can put it in the center of my text box as well. So that kind of helps me just line things up nice and neat. I'm going to take this up to nice and big. Now, notice that Ridge Road Middle School wrapped. Okay, now that it's not wrapped. And I can get it back center. Okay. So I have Ridge Road Middle School text now on my background. Now let's say I want to make this kind of fancy. I can hold down the Command key and duplicate my text again. And I'm going to highlight it, my new set of text. And I'm going to change my color. And let's say maybe I want it kind of gray. Now I have this duplicated text, and I can drag it and kind of make myself some shadow letters, make it pop a little bit. Now the gray's on top, and that's not looking real great, so let's say, hey, I don't want that gray on the top. I want it in the background. I click on Arrange, and I go to Order, and I'm going to send it backwards one step. And now my white is on the top, and my gray is on the bottom. Alright, so this works really well. Now, the main thing that I use this for, guys, is to make diagrams that my kids use for matching for vocab terms and things in science. So I know my math people, they have made graphs and number lines and they embed them in their quizzes. We use Google Draw a lot for things like that, to have our own custom stuff. When you can't just search Google Images and find exactly what you need, and you need something custom, this is the place to go. Now, if I want an image, okay, I can search my computer, I can search the web, I can search Google Drive, I can even get the URL. Let's say I have it in another tab. I can just throw the URL in and it will pop that image in for me. So if I want to search the web, okay, and I'm going to type Ridge Road. Okay. Now we have lots of images here, right? All kinds of things. Alright, so maybe I don't like any of those. Okay, and I want to go find something that's already in my my drive. So I'm going to open my drive. And here's my recent. And I have this great image right here. And I'm going to just drag and drop it over. You could also double click and it's going to throw it in there just the same. So I'm going to resize that and I'm going to pop it in right here. And I'm going to close out my Google Drive. Thank you for sharing. Now I have it nice and lined up. So I have this great brand new kind of bold Ridge Road logo that I can use in Canvas for a multitude of things. I can use it as a button. Buttons are when I take an image and I make it a link. I can, let's say that this was my number line for a math problem, or this was a diagram of the cell with different letters labeled on the different parts of the cell. I can put this image now in Canvas, and that's going to allow my kids to see a nice, great image. And I didn't do a whole lot of work to get that, which is great. So if I want to put this somewhere else, there are two ways to do that. I can go File, and I can download it. I can download it as a JPEG, I can download it as a PDF, I can download it as a PNG, I can download it as a scalable vector graph. Now that means when I stretch this image, I can make it way big or way small, and I'm not going to lose my clarity. I don't really mess with that because I make my stuff kind of nice and big to start with anyway, and then I don't lose my quality, so I always just download it as a JPEG. Now in Canvas, it doesn't work great to download as a JPEG because then you have to upload it into, like, save it in Canvas for you to come back to it later. The easiest way to work with Google Drawings and Canvas is to go publish to the web. So I'm going to publish this to the web. Now it's going to ask me, do I want to link or I want to embed it? Now at first you're going to go, I'm embedding this image. Of course I need the embed code. Not true, and you'll see in a minute. So we're going to go link. We're going to click publish and we click OK. And I'm going to get this nice code right here, all this mess that no one actually understands except for programmers. I do know that these numbers right here represent my size of my image, but I'm going to just copy that, Control C, and I have my image on my clipboard. So I'm going to click here and I'm in Canvas. So this is my PLC course. As you can see, I have some images embedded. These are my buttons for my units, and these buttons were made in Google Draw. I just duplicated them and then changed the words on the top. So let's say I'm going to put a picture in a quiz. So I'm going to click on quizzes. And it's being a little slow. Sorry, guys. So I have all of these quizzes made. Wow, look at all the quizzes. Yay. So I'm going to click quiz. And we're just going to call this practice quiz. Delete this unnamed part. Okay. Now, this box right here, many of you know this is for your directions. But if I want this quiz to have a diagram in it, I can click New Question. Now, most of the time, I put my diagrams in multiple choice or matching. And they just choose, what does this diagram represent? So I'm going to show you that. First, we're going to start with matching. Okay. Notice that I have my answers on the left, I have my answers on the right. But if I want them to match the things in the diagram, I'm just going to put my diagram in right here. So this is how this goes. Right here, this little square with a mountain and a sun in it is your embed image. So I'm going to click that, and then it says URL. Now when I got that shareable code, that's what I got. I got a URL. So I can Control V and paste it in there, and when I click on the screen, it's going to show me my dimensions right here. And when I click update, it's going to pop that baby right in there for me. And then I can just list my answer choices. Hey, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, how many ever answer choices you had on here. And then on the right side, they'll match your parts of your cell, the parts of the water cycle, the correct fractions on the number line. The options are just endless and up to your imagination. Okay, so I'm going to hit cancel because I don't really want to put this in my PLC course, so we're just practicing here. Now, if I click new question, let's say I want an image for multiple questions. I want a picture of the water cycle, but I want to ask them several questions on the water cycle in a row. I can choose text no question, and that's going to give me just a box. Now, it's the same process. I click embed, I put my code right here, still on my clipboard, and I hit update. Okay, and I'm going to have my image, and it's going to pop up just in my test, just a straight up image, no questions attached to it. Now when you do this, you need to make sure that you're not selecting that the kids are taking the quiz with only showing one question at a time, otherwise you're just going to negate that. So yet again, I'm going to click cancel. Now if I was to go multiple choice, okay, and let's say that I have a question up here and it says pick the correct logo for the Ridge Road Raven. I can put my image here. Now what I do is you can see that when I've clicked here, I get a little pencil and I get a little trash can. This little pencil is going to give me a Omnibox just like my question Omnibox, and I can put an image in as an answer choice. So let's say I want my math students to be able to select the correct number line out of 4 different number lines. Now I have my image as an answer choice, and I can click done, and it's just there. Okay. So there's lots of options for how to put these in quizzes. This Omnibox feature, this looks the same in announcements, in discussions, in assignments, and all of those things. So feel free to put them wherever you want them. Okay. Now I'm going to hit cancel on this whole thing because this is my PLC course and I don't really want to mess anything up in it right now. I am going to go back to my home page and I'm going to show you just real fast how a button works. So if I click edit right here, this is my home page that was designed for my students. Now let's say this astronomy unit. Okay, if I click on this image here, and I've already embedded this image, okay, I clicked on my little mountain picture, I put the image in, great, it's there. Okay, if I want to make this a button, all of this stuff right here on the right is stuff that I can link. So when they click on this picture, it will take them to any of these places in Canvas. It's really quick for them to navigate through Canvas instead of having to go to modules or having to go to quizzes and what did you call it. It sort of negates all of those questions, so we don't want to have to deal with that. Now when I click on modules, okay, you can see that I have thermal energy, waves and light, all of these things. Currently I don't have an astronomy unit made yet. We're a work in progress here, but if I did have the astronomy unit module made, I could just click on it and that would automatically link that image to another part of my Canvas course, and that makes my life really easy. Please understand that you can also link it to outside media. So if I click here and click this link while this image is selected, I can still make that image a link to anything else on the internet. A lot of times I use this for my brain pops to get the kids directly to where I want them to go in brain pop. Discovery education, I use it for that too. I always tell them, hey, you got to log in, you got to open a window first, but I give them an image of which discovery education thing they're doing. I screenshot it and then I make that image the link. So here's what it looks like. Click on it. It's going to take you straight there. That makes all of their lives a lot easier and my life a lot easier. I'm not running around kind of crazy all the time. Images are just more kid friendly. So that's the basics of making sure that you create a Google image any way you kind of want and adding it to Canvas. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know and I will see if I can help. Thanks, guys.